Good morning. I want to begin by saying this is such an honor for me to be here with you today. It's quite an opportunity, and I'm falling in love with the country of Chile and the people, so thank you very much. So this presentation, I'm going to cover some very sensitive, thank you. I'm going to cover some very sensitive pieces of information here today, so I'm asking you to take care, please. So my organization is the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. We were started 40 years ago as a result of a young girl, 13 years old, who was abducted and murdered. So our organization was established in the very early days to deal with missing children. Over the years, with the onslaught of technology, we recognized that we had to adapt as an organization. We are a charity, we are independent of government, but we work very closely with law enforcement and families and children, not only in Canada, but around the world, including Chile. I'm going to talk quickly about a couple of the programs and services. I'll get into them more later, but my goal today is to really educate you about online risks to children that take place not only in my country, but in yours as well. So we do two things, big things. We offer critical assistance to children in crisis. So we all have children as young as 10 years old come into us who are being victimized online. We will help them, or we will help families. We also do a variety of prevention and education programs, meaning that we are in every school in Canada, and we do a lot of work in terms of education. But for those of you who are parents, and I can't see hands up, what I would say is most of you recognize how difficult it is to protect children in an online world. So the mandate of our tip line: we receive reports from the public, we look at those reports, and then we assist families, youth, or we send to police. We also, I should say, lastly, we receive roughly 30,000 reports that come into us any year, and so that's pretty significant. The other thing that we did a couple of years ago is our work involves our analysts looking at child sexual abuse material. We look at very, very awful pictures and videos of children being sexually assaulted, and we also look to identify those victims where possible. In doing this work, we recognized that part of the victimization for young people was not only the original abuse, but it was the ongoing distribution of that material, that they could not get off the internet. So we did something about it, and we created Project Arachnid. Project Arachnid crawls the open internet, and it scrapes the dark web.
Every time I see someone looking at me, I wonder if they know, if they've seen the pictures. Sometimes it feels like I'm being abused over and over again.
In the dark throes of the web, every day under the cover of anonymity, technology is being misused to share images of child sexual abuse across the world. And with every single share, victims are forced to relive their abuse over and over again. To fight fire with fire, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection has created Project Arachnid, virtual crawlers that scour the internet to find and remove images of child sexual abuse. To identify these images, Arachnid uses a groundbreaking combination of Microsoft's photo DNA technology along with digital fingerprints received from institutions like the RCMP and Interpol. Now, even if the image has been cropped, reformatted, or augmented in any way, the crawlers find the matching images and help take them down. Arachnid is a giant step forward in helping victims of child sexual abuse reclaim their lives. But the battleground shifts every day as technology evolves and offenders find new ways to victimize and evade. And while we vow to relentlessly fight on the front lines every day, we need your support. So please share this video and help break the cycle of abuse.
Trends. So what are we seeing? As I mentioned, our analysts and our work, we are under the hood of the internet. So we see what's going on to children. We have children coming in and telling us, and then we can see ourselves. So what we know about online sexual violence, and for many of you, this is not a surprise, we're seeing a drastic increase in what is happening to young people. So we are seeing, again, it's increasing. We are seeing more and more actual acts of sexual violence. We are seeing younger children being victimized. And what we know is on the internet, children and adults are in spaces and places that are unsupervised. And when we talk about notable concerns for victims, we know that they're not telling anyone what's going on. As I mentioned, they're younger. We're seeing pre-existing mental health issues that are carrying on. Now remember also, as I mentioned, imagine a video of you in a sexual act when you're a child that continues to be distributed online. It's not 5 years later, not 10 years later, it's 15 years later, and it's still happening. We are seeing, of course, we are concerned about the use of AI tied to children and what we're seeing in terms of sexual violence. Offenders, we are seeing extreme control tactics. We are seeing more degrading behavior taking place. We are also seeing a trend of multiple offenders working together to basically terrorize one or more victims. Some of these people have hundreds of victims. We see them using multiple social media accounts, and as mentioned, often humiliation is involved. Trends, I mentioned the volume we're seeing. We issue 13 million removal notices to companies in a year. To date, we've reported actually about 69 million. And we've seen 125% increase in deep fake images. So harms to children, again, we're seeing, I mentioned this. I'm not going to go into all the numbers because I'm watching my time and I want to make sure I get some things covered here. But we're seeing non-consensual distribution of images. What I can say also, if you're an adolescent girl and you've had image or video of you shared, it is very hard to get that down. That's why our agency gets involved, because companies won't bother, because they're monetizing content. Again, we're seeing a significant jump in online luring, you might call it grooming. And again, adults pretending to be younger, and so we're seeing that, and sextortion. Boys look different. We are seeing a drastic, we're getting how many, I think, per day? 8 to 10 sextortion cases a day. I have one example of a young man, beautiful young boy, 17 years old, small town, Canada. He was sextorted, thought he was talking to a girl. He took his life within 3 hours. Now, these are typically very sophisticated, organized crime networks that are making a lot of money off of this. And so we have this imbalance of power and the misuse of technology. I'm not going to go into the online luring cases. I gave you an example, but I would tell you that every day we are getting calls where a young person thinks they were talking to someone, and before you know it, they've sent a picture. Then they are being sort of blackmailed to send more. They're terrified, they're humiliated, they don't want anyone to know, and so often they're trapped. Our agency will often give them help, give them a life jacket, we call it, and help them untangle from the situation and then find a safe adult that they're able to talk to. So what we are seeing in terms of online exploitation, as I mentioned, they comply, things escalate quickly, they find that they're in a no-win situation. So we're seeing a lot of trauma happen in this space, and we're finding a lot of kids who are not telling. So this is a real sort of thing. This is happening all over the world. And law enforcement find it very difficult to investigate these crimes because often we have people from foreign countries, very different countries, in very different jurisdictions. How we help. So as we mentioned in terms of support to youth, we help them manage those threats. We help them to safely disconnect. We work through the concerns over their images and what we can do in Project Arachnid. We help connect them with the safe adult. We help them in reporting. Sometimes these are reports that do go to law enforcement. And then, of course, image removal is one of their top priorities. Supports to parents. We help them understand what's going on. And it's amazing to see how often kids are blamed, parents are blamed, and yet you have a situation where we have that imbalance of power combined with the perfect storm of the anonymous internet. So, we are in a real sort of point in history where we need to have a proper reckoning as to the role of governments now in terms of keeping their citizens safe. So we do a lot of safety planning with parents to help them understand that this could happen to any child. It's not that you did something wrong. And so there are a lot of people who are very motivated to injure children online. So you can see the scale of the removal things that we are doing right now. So we have, right now in our system, we have an 87 million image and video backlog that we can't get to. So this is a very important reason why I'm in Chile, and I feel that Latin America is an emerging region that we are looking to partner with like-minded agencies to assist in this fight. We do have, there'll be a code at the end, educational resources for families, for kids. It's in English. I apologize for that, but there's some really good information there to support you if you do have any questions. In terms of our agency, I'm just going to close with a few things, and then I always bring the voices of survivors with me. You're going to hear from some survivors that I work with very closely, and I tell them and told them I was coming here and that you would hear their voices, so I want to make time. So our biggest thing right now is we are calling on nation states to step up and regulate the internet. Tech has had 15 to 20 years to get it sorted, and they have not done so. Every other industry has regulations, airlines, financial, all of them. It's time for tech to have the same guardrails put in place. We are advocating for age verification for protection of children. It is not okay that with the click of 4 words, 10-year-olds can gain access to hardcore pornography. It's reshaping attitudes and beliefs, and we are seeing an increase in misogynistic attitudes towards women that we have not seen in years. And then, of course, mandating the removal of child sexual abuse material. I want you all to know we also have a free tool in Arachnid that can prevent the upload of known child sexual abuse material that companies can use. And I believe we only have roughly 200 companies using the tool. And here we go. This is a group of young, brave women that I've taken to the White House, I've taken to G7 meetings. They cannot show their faces because many of these women today, even though their abuse happened years earlier, are stalked online. They've had to change their names. People have sent things to their houses. They have threats. Their wedding pictures are posted on social media. They are not safe because of the reoccurrence of their imagery from when they were very little girls being sexually assaulted.
For a long time, we were afraid.
We were afraid of the dark. We were afraid of the unknown.
We were afraid of our past and what it meant for our future.
Alone, isolated,
Yet exposed to the world. We knew there were others like us out there.
yet we were scared to confront their pain because of what they understood about our pain.
Last year, we all took a bold step to overcome the fears about ourselves.
To band together to become a force for change.
To speak for all those who cannot speak for themselves.
To make the invisible visible. To make the two-dimensional three-dimensional.
We are the Phoenix 11.
Sexually abused as children, reduced to child sex abuse images,
And stripped of our dignity and humanity, we have risen together
as powerful young women who are retaking our identities and self-worth.
No longer content to live in the shadows,
We are redefining what it means to be victims.
Who are powerless to stop the relentless onslaught of the technology of abuse.
We are survivors of sexual torture,
erotic photo
Pedophile
shoots,
sleepovers, school sex shows,
Streaming BDSM.
and twisted sexual desires.
whose digital images were trafficked worldwide to fulfill the endless needs of an evil, perverted community.
which takes pleasure from our pain.
Now we are putting the world on notice.
But we will no longer be a silent, suffering collage of young girls and boys
Whose nameless and often faceless images and videos
Circulate worldwide on the internet cesspool of humanity.
We are the Phoenix 11.
Hear our voice.
See our strength.
Answer our call.
We will not be stopped.
We will not be silent.
I still tear up when I see that. I love those girls. So I close. So I want to thank you for spending the time with me today. And I want you to know that not only do I care about the children in Canada, but I care about the children in Chile. So thank you for giving me the honor of spending time with you. Bye-bye.